I've been living in Arizona for the last 3 years, I think, 2018. And something that I've noticed is the lack of beaches here.
Wait a second. There's no beaches, he notices 3 years later.
And the thing is, I've always lived about 15 to 20 minutes away from a beach in Boston and LA and the Dominican Republic. I've never lived further than that until I got here. And so now if I were to ever have a vacation, post pandemic and we're all back to normal, it's going to be to a beach. And so that brings me to my question for you guys. What is your best vacation destination? Would it be a beach, or do you want to go skiing, camping?
Mine would definitely be a beach. I love the ocean. I love the sound of the water. I love just being able to be free. I feel like I'm free at the beach or the ocean, whichever one, I also was like 30 minutes away from a beach when I was living in Chicago. So, we didn't go that much because the beaches there are not very nice. They're kind of crappy. The water is always freezing cold because obviously it only hits 80s there, so it doesn't really warm up the huge body of water, but definitely a beach.
Your beach is a lake, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it has sand, so...
Sure.
I'm going to agree and say beach. I've never been skiing, and I don't think I have the balance for it. And camping, I'll go camping. I'm not going to say no to any vacation. But oh my God, I'm a sucker for San Diego or Tampa or Rocky Point. And that's a cool thing about living in Arizona. So we don't have beaches, obviously. We're landlocked. But it's pretty close to Rocky Point. It's but a 4-hour drive to
close.
Rocky Point. It's like 4 hours to Rocky Point. That doesn't include sitting at the border. Okay.
I am good.
It's like 6 hours to San Diego, but that's an hour flight. And then you're at the beach and you drive 45 minutes to Flagstaff for snow and camping. It's all nearby. But yeah, beach for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to plan a vacation to the beach because I am definitely a fan of relaxing. I went for our honeymoon. My husband and I, we went to Colorado. We went to Purgatory Ski Resort, and it was a lot of fun. We went snowboarding, but he ended up spraining his wrist on our first day on the slopes. And so I spent almost the whole rest of my honeymoon, snowboarding by myself while he was chilling in the lodge.
I have one question about that story. You said the name of the ski resort is Purgatory?
It is, yeah.
Obviously something bad happened.
Sheer romance.
We went to hell for my honeymoon.
Yeah. Other than the injury, it was great, but I did keep thinking the whole time, this never would have happened if we were just laying out on the beach. So, growing up in Arizona my whole life, landlocked, but we would go to California every year. It's like a summer tradition, going to the beach. And, some of the beaches there, I remember them being a lot nicer when I was younger. Now I go as an adult and I'm like, was this always this junkie?
And not pop culture junkie, not the cool kind of junkie.
Not the good junkie, more like the trash everywhere junkie. Trash and needles, but
the bad junkie.
Yeah, the bad one. But yeah, still, I'm gonna go with the beach for sure. And I hate camping, and let's never go.
I'm glad we come down to a consensus. Get our bikinis out and hit the beach.
Absolutely,
let's do it.
Coming in hot from the Valley of the Sun.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy, Alexander, here with...
Nicole. I am back and better than ever this week.
Boop, boop.
Yeah, I'm Shauna.
And I'm Haley, the brave.
And you're listening to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. Here we pick up where pop culture left off and give you some thoughts and feels about what's poppin' in culture. So what's up, people? What's up? I definitely want to say welcome back to Nicole. We missed you. You know, we hear that you were out with your Celebrity Island friends at the New York auditioning for Bachelor's Maloney's Buns edition. How was that?
It was great. I guess you'll have to watch the season to see if I got to, in Finding Nemo quotes, touch the butt.
Hey. We just see you in the background of the episode just drooling and fangirling every time.
They're like, you're supposed to be a dead body, Nicole.
Yeah, I literally texted Haley and I was like, I would not mind being a body extra in a body bag on this show.
Yes.
The dream.
Oh, to be a dead body.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. Well, speaking of Law and Order, I know that's one of our favorite TV shows here at Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. I'm down to hear what's been happening with the show recently.
Whew. Oh,
Go
man.
ahead and take it, Haley.
It's getting spicy. So last week we had the big 2-hour crossover event. We got to see Captain Olivia Benson finally find out the truth about her brother Simon's murder. And she got some closure in that regard, which was good to see. And it was great to see Stabler by her side, interrogating a perp once again, just like old times. And unfortunately, in the back half of the crossover, we saw Stabler. His wife is still warm in her grave. And we got to see him making out with the ex-wife of the lead villain on the show.
Wait, so not with Benson? No. I was going to ask if they did it this episode. That's my only question every week is, did they do it?
Not yet.
They're really playing with your emotions, huh?
They really are. They had full scenes in the promo for this episode. They had this flirty scene in a diner between Benson and Stabler, and then they cut it from the episode. So yeah, they're stringing us along. You know, 22 years we've been waiting for something, but they did very briefly hold hands, and it was more physical contact than we've had in 10 years. So we're living for it. I'm currently living in that headspace. And then the big reveal was, of course, at the very, very end of the episode, where Stabler gets some evidence that leads him to go interrogate this guy. And he asks him, why did you do it? Why did you kill my wife? Or why did Richard, the big bad villain, order the hit on my wife? And he reveals it wasn't me. It wasn't Richard. It was Angela Wheatley, who is the woman that you were just making out with. She is the one who killed your wife.
No.
There you go.
The audacity.
He's been macking on his wife's killer. Yeah. So now, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? There's about 3 more weeks of both SVU and Organized Crime before their respective season finales. And Organized Crime did get picked up for season 2, which is super exciting. And then they announced a brand new series called For the Defense that is also going to be on Thursday nights. So Nicole and I are going to have 3 hours of Law and Order every Thursday night.
Cannot wait to dedicate my Thursdays to NBC.
Yeah, Dick Wolf basically owns half of our souls at this point, but I'm okay with it.
Honestly, yes, because I watch his Chicago PD, Chicago Fire too, so I'm just giving him my money.
Good for you, Dick.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else do we have here? Jonna, anything new, anything interesting that you've been watching?
Yeah. So I'm somewhere. What goes in between, halfway between popping and dropping something? Is it where you just kind of like slowly bounce it in your hand and just kind of like
maybe just leave it there?
Yeah. So I'm
bounce it in your hand. Yeah.
Right, just kind of slowly bouncing it. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to keep bouncing this or if I'm just going to like whoops and drop it. But I've been watching this show called Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix with Josh Duhamel as the main star. So basically, it's a league of superheroes. Josh Duhamel is the lead superhero, kind of the Omni-Man, Superman kind of figurehead in this society. And he is over 100-something years old. He's got 2 kids. One's 20, one's like 22, 23. And they both have superpowers because the mom is a superhero as well. And it's basically just kind of a show about how these two young adults are dealing with living up to their parents' legacy. One of them is trying to kind of carry on the torch and be the next generation of superhero. He wants to join the League of Superheroes. And then the other child is addicted to nose candy and partying and drinking and just does not give a single heck about being a superhero. So it's interesting. When I first saw like promo shots from this show, I thought it was going to be a lot more like CW-ish because their costumes are very colorful. And I don't know, like Josh Duhamel has this kind of cheesy aging makeup on to make him have like long gray hair and a gray beard. But there's a lot of adult content. There's a lot of sex, violence, and drugs. And I don't know, like sometimes it kind of feels like it's just spinning its own wheels and I don't really know where it's going. Like we have this second backstory that's going on that kind of shows how Josh Duhamel's character, the utopian, gets his superpowers. But gosh, you know, did any of you guys watch Arrow in its heyday?
Yeah.
You know how they like overdo it with the flashbacks sometimes. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks to Arrow where I'm like
PTSD from Leon Yu. You're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, enough with the freaking flashbacks. Just tell me how you got your powers already. Like, so it switches back and forth between like the 20s, 40s to now. And just, I don't know. We've been dedicated so much. We think we're on like episode 5 or 6 now that it's like, okay, we might as well finish it. We'll see. I'm medium on it. I'm going to give it like a B- right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched like the first 10 minutes and honestly, I turned it off. I wasn't sure what I thought about it.
I haven't watched it yet, but one reviewer was saying that after watching The Boys and Invincible, that like the caliber of superhero content that they've gotten used to on TV, like the level's been raised. And so now watching Jupiter's like, they're like, if I would have watched this a couple of years ago, I probably would have enjoyed it. But now if I'm going for like a dark, gritty superhero drama, this ain't it.
I think that you just hit the nail on the head. Exactly. Because it's like, okay, cool. It's kind of gory. Like in this first episode, no spoiler, I won't say who it is, but it's a total side character, gets beheaded. But there's no blood. It's the most dry beheading I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of beheadings. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. They say bad words, but they're not that bad. They have a little bit of sex, but not a lot of sex. It's like, it's right there.
It's like the kid in high school who's like, what's up, you guys? Like, I can swear too. What
the heck is going on, you guys?
Have you guys heard the new album from that rock band?
Nickelback?
Like kid.
I bought the new Nickelback album.
Well, we'll see if you finish this series or not. But I think Nicole and Haley, you guys have finished some of your shows, right? You guys have any finales to talk about? Or
Well, I didn't finish. The show itself finished. The Real Housewives of New Jersey had their finale, and it was pretty good. It was like a Halloween special, so obviously it was filmed back in October. But it's kind of funny to watch it because they're filming through the pandemic. It was summer, and then the kids got back to school, and then now it's Halloween, and all of their functions, it's big parties. No one's wearing a mask. Obviously, the vaccine wasn't out at the time yet. I'm just like, okay. Me personally, I'm like, whatever, they probably all got tested and stuff before these gatherings. But then again, who knows, because it's Bravo TV and they need to make their money by doing this television show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's totally besides the point.
Is Real Housewives, is that a reality show?
It is.
Okay, because I know Real Husbands of Hollywood isn't. So I don't know anymore.
Yeah, so they find...
What's real anymore?
Right. They find these rich couples, or women, I should say, because they're housewives. Some of them are single. And they find a group of them, give them their own show. They go to a bunch of different cities and just create a Real Housewives of whatever city they're in. And you get to see how to live as a rich person in this time and day and age.
In New Jersey. Anybody married to any mafia types?
No, I mean, Teresa Giudice probably was because her husband went to jail for tax fraud.
I mean, yeah. True, can they?
Right. But I'm saying Joe Giudice probably was. He went to jail for tax fraud. He took a lot. Not saying he is in the mafia. I'm joking about that. But he was sketch. He was sketch. But now he's living in like the Bahamas or something because he cannot come back to the United States. He got deported.
A little sus.
Sounds kind of Cosa Nostra to me.
Yes. But it was a good finale. But I also have something else I would love to talk about because it's about my girl Billie Eilish. She did release a book, and it's called By Billie Eilish. And it is literally a picture book of her whole life up till now in chronological order. So it starts off with baby pictures of her and her family and her brother Phineas, who is her right hand, the person who sits down and writes her music with her, produces her music. And it is so cute. She includes concert pictures, pictures of her fans that were taken at concerts. And you could definitely tell the times where she was having difficulties in her life. And she even captioned some of her pictures. One of the pictures was like, the lowest point in my life or something. But you would never know that unless she didn't say anything, which is kind of crazy to think about that. People who literally have everything and anything are usually the people that have the lowest points in their life.
I like that she like made a book, you know, because now people just post these things on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like now it's nice to kind of have a collection of these things that she like curated.
Yeah. And she handpicked every single picture.
That's so cool.
And there's over like 300 pages in this book.
Oh,
I feel like Instagram can be such a collection of obviously, I think maybe we've mentioned this at some point, but it's a collection of the high points in your life, you know? Like no one's going to post an Instagram picture of like, here's a picture of me on the day where I was at the lowest point in my entire life. Like, you know, it's, and then that you start looking at people's feeds and you think, gosh, this person has the perfect life. They're so happy. Everything's so glamorous, but it's like, no, that's just what they're presenting to you. So that's pretty
For the
cool.
most part. I was definitely one of those people that posted one of my lowest points. I have like a picture of me on Instagram where like I'm sitting on a sidewalk with like a couple boxes with my clothes and like a mannequin, which was the only things that I owned when I was living in LA before my landlady kicked me out and just dropped everything. She's like, just dropped me somewhere, like Ranging Butler, I think it was. And, you know, I feel like that also was a high point in my life because it was kind of like an eye opener. And luckily I had some great friends to help me out through that transition.
Probably a launching pad for you to kind of figure out what you wanted to do. And the mannequin totally reminds me of Umbrella Academy. The guy's like in love with the mannequin.
Yeah, we had she went through a lot with me. Her name is Pacific.
That's amazing. That's totally like Umbrella Academy.
No, yeah, I was working at a retail store, and so it was on the promenade. So I was like on my way home and I was carrying this big mannequin, no arms, no head, just a torso.
Just a
legs.
torso. That's all you need.
And
sorry, that sounded really filthy.
Well, we had our first date by the Pacific
This
Ocean.
also sounds like the same high school kid who can't get a date.
This is him. He's like, oh, look, that mannequin looks pretty good. She don't got a head, but I'll work with it. I'll work with it.
This is my life. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Haley, I know. So were you able to finish Shadow and Bone? I know we talked about it recently.
Yeah. Following up, Shadow and Bone was confusing as hell for the first couple episodes. I had no idea what was going on. And I would say, give it 3 episodes before you ditch it or commit to it. Because there's only 8. There's only 8 episodes in the first season. And I will say that by the end, I was completely hooked, completely sold. Like, I can't wait for another season. It's still very much out of my normal wheelhouse. Still the fantasy elements continue to ramp up throughout the series, but you find out why it's called Shadow and Bone, because up until episode 7, Bone plays no role whatsoever. So you find out what that is, and it's not sexual. I know what you're thinking, Sean.
Bone. Nice.
But yeah, it was really, really good. I mentioned before, the production quality is really good, but the character development, they bring in a side story that seems totally random in the beginning and then kind of it all fleshes out at the end. Ben Barnes is an amazing small spoiler, Ben Barnes is the villain. And he doesn't start out that way, but he develops into the villain. And I
feel like you can usually tell in shows. You're like, they're definitely developing that guy to be the bad guy by the end. So
I mean, he dresses in all black from the very beginning and is very like, I control the dark arts. And you're like, okay, yeah, you're the bad guy. But yeah, really, really good. My only complaint is I wanted characters to make out a lot more than they did, and they didn't. There was only two kissing scenes in the whole series, and there should have been at least 35. So
I love you so much, Haley. That is always my main complaint with shows too. I'm like, not even doing it. I mean, I want them all to do it. Like, I want everyone to just do it all the time. But mostly, I just want some
There's a genre for that.
We don't talk about that genre on this show. But like, I want some romance and some smooches.
There was a lot of longing looks and hand touches and, things left unsaid. Just like Law and Order, there was letters that never came out. You never knew what was in the letter and they never got read. So I don't know. Overall, I'd say pop it to Shadow and Bone. It's worth the watch. Give it 3 episodes. See if it's your cup of tea. And I think you guys will like it.
Nice. Dope, I do want to mention one show that you guys convinced me to watch that I finished this week. So thank you to you guys for convincing me to watch Invincible.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my God. We finished it this week and I cried in the finale.
It's emotional.
Straight up cried. And we've spoiled it already, but 3, 2, 1 Invincible spoilers. Like the scene where they cut back and forth between him and his dad at the baseball game. And then just cutting to his dad beating the crap out of him. Yep. I got so emotional. I started crying. I was just like, God, I know he still loves him. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my God. I can't wait for seasons 2 and 3. So thank you for convincing me to finally watch it. It was amazing.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Blessings. Blessings upon you.
Blessings. Thank you. Peace be with you and also with you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I watched a couple movies this past week. One being Those Who Wish Me Dead and Together. Both I would pop. I would recommend it, definitely. And Those Who Wish Me Dead, that's the one with Angelina Jolie. Mm-hmm. She's like a forest firefighter. And there's this kid that witnessed this murder, his dad's murder. And so she's helping this kid pretty much hide while the murderers are out to get him. And it was very cool to watch. And that guy, what's his name from the Netflix Punisher?
John Bernthal.
Yeah, he's in that too.
I love him.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, he's in that too. It's really good. It's really good.
But is there kissing?
Do they smooch?
I don't even remember.
Well, if it's about Angelina Jolie and a little boy, I hope not.
Maybe no. But if her and John Bernthal do it,
No. They're
I'm here for it.
They're like exes in the movie. John's character is married and expecting a baby with another character.
Okay, so no smooching.
No, he's an honest man.
Where can you watch that? Is it on Netflix or?
I watched it with HBO Max. I think I watched it on. Is that?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's where I saw the promo for it today.
I don't even remember where I watched Together. There's so many streaming services.
I know,
right? And they just keep coming up with more and more. I hear AT&T is making some huge one or something recently. I don't know.
And all of this content from CBS, instead of canceling shows, they're just moving them over to Paramount Plus now. And I'm like, I really don't need another service, you guys.
Well, yeah, Together I watched on Apple TV. You gotta rent it or whatever. But that one was really good too. And I liked it because it wasn't like your regular romantic comedy. So this one stars Ed Helms and Patty Harrison. And Ed Helms hires Patty's character to be his surrogate, to pretty much carry his child. And so there's this dynamic between the two where it's romance, but I love the connection that they have together throughout the whole thing. And even towards the end, you're like, what's going to happen? But I like the way that they end it. And, there's this age gap between the two. But it's never weird. It's never weird. It really feels like two friends, feeling love for each other. So it's nice. It was a refreshing movie to watch. Both of them were actually
Nice. To give those a view.
Yeah, I never heard of that until Tig Notaro posted it on social media, like a clip, because she's in it. Oh my gosh, absolutely! I'm obsessed with Tig Notaro ever since she performed a comedy show in my friend's backyard, like decades ago. Yeah,
I remember you talking about that. That's so cool.
I'm like a huge Tig stan, so I will watch anything that she is in. Yes. So that's on my list for sure. Hi, I'm Haley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom, and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms.
Let's move on to headlines, guys. Let's see. Give us some deets. You know, what do we have? What's the gossip out there?
You sound like the mom from Mean Girls. What's the 411? What's the hot goss? You guys need condoms? Anything a snack? Love ya.
Actually, talk about snacks. There's one thing I caught on recently. I saw that there was like a Twitter exchange between Wingstop, the restaurant, and this like girl on Twitter, and they were like exchanging sexual innuendos and talking about like white sauce. Yeah, like she was like talking about how like she loved the ranch, and then by the end of it,
did they do it?
well, I forget who, but one of them invited the other to their DMs, and maybe who knows what happened after that.
I ship it. I ship the social media. I ship the entity of Wingstop.
Yeah,
just the anthropomorphic entity that is.
I think that's the best like marketing like tactic that there's been on social media in a while. Like just really just like engaging with, you know, a regular customer and just like going back and forth, being all flirty. They don't get like specific or like, but it's just like innuendos. They're like laying it out there, and you know like, what they're talking about.
Is it hot in here? Is that just your wings?
Yeah. Do you prefer breasts or thighs?
Oh man, I wish I didn't pull it up to read them.
You know what? Shout out to Wingstop, because I recently had them for the first time playing D&D. Like my group was like ordered a bunch of wings from Wingstop, and they were bomb.
Hey, Wingstop, if you're listening, we will fully accept sponsorship. We will hawk your wings on our show as much as
we like as breast, thighs, and white sauce here in Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Oh my God.
Oh man. So yeah, this one is like, she was like, "Oh, where are you?" And she's like, "I'm in Texas." And he's like, and then the Wingstop was like, "Oh, well, where our headquarters is in Dallas." Ooh. And she's like, "Oh, I'm 3 hours away. Be there soon. Breaded or naked?"
Oh man.
Now I'm hot and hungry.
Speaking of spicy exchanges, Shauna, what are your thoughts about John Mulaney and Olivia Munn? Because I have thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
So my first initial reaction was good-looking people sleeping with good-looking people. You love to see it. But I'm reading into it more, and like, okay, it looks like it was just days after he confirmed the end of his marriage that he kind of revealed like that him and Munn were dating, or it was revealed, I guess. They met at church. So not the most spicy beginning, but it looks like maybe the two of them had been like at least acquaintances before that, or that like they had flirted or like known each other for a while. So in 2015, Olivia Munn told HuffPost Live that she fangirled over John Mulaney after meeting him and his fiance, and that she was just like following them around all night and really wanted to hang out with the two of them, and just was like super into John Mulaney and his then wife. But like, I guess she's just kind of had a crush on him for a long time. So she's always kind of been there, that little bird waiting to swoop in. Just picture a little Olivia Munn swooping.
And kind of like Ben Affleck swooping into J-Lo.
Oh, hell yeah. Lots of swooping going on in Hollywood right now. But, I hope that nothing overlapped. But, maybe they're just taking it slow. We don't know. They announced the end of their marriage on like May 10th or something. But like, we don't know what actually goes on behind the scenes. Maybe it was one of those things like the marriage ended a long time ago, Yeah. But I don't know.
My favorite part about this story breaking was that I saw it on Twitter, and the two tweets, like one right after the other. The first one said, Mulaney and Munn meet at church.
Yep.
And then the one underneath it was screenshots of texts that Olivia Munn had sent Chris Pine years ago that are explicitly pornographic. Like,
oh my God, I need to look this up right now.
Oh my, I will never look at Olivia Munn the same way. And like, I knew she was a spicy gal from the get-go.
Did you used to watch Attack of the Show back in the day? Does anyone watch? Okay, so Olivia Munn, like, that's where I started watching her was, gosh, in like 2010, she was on this channel called G4, and it was like a video game channel. And like, it was this super nerdy channel. They focused a lot on just pop culture content, lots of video games. And the show is called Attack of the Show. And she would do all sorts of crazy physical stunts, put 1 million hot dogs in her mouth and jump into vats of whipped cream and lingerie. And like, she was the sexy host. And once she left, they replaced her with like a whole like kind of rotating cast of former adult actresses to be like the sexy fun girl on the show. But yeah, she's always been a little spicy.
Yeah, I mean, she was a big name at Comic-Con for a lot of years because of that. And then obviously she was Psylocke in the X-Men movies. But yeah, I don't know. I'll never look at her or Chris Pine the same way ever again. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, so once I saw that, I almost was like, John Mulaney has no idea what he's in for. I don't think he knows what he's getting himself into. He's like, we met at church. I'm like, if you're trying to, I don't know. I support him in his sobriety and, again, send blessings because he's going to need them with her.
This is going to give me a lot of reading material later. Thank you, Haley. Thank you.
Eat some Wingstop and scroll through those texts.
It's going to be a good night.
What else is out there out in the atmosphere, Hollywood land?
I don't know. Biggest news thing that stuck out to me this week was Ellen getting really salty about the cancellation of her show.
Yes, go off. I need all the details about this.
Okay, so she had several interviews, but she had one where, and I ended up seeing the clip on TikTok, but she had an interview with Savannah Guthrie, and she had asked her years ago, like when your show first started, your mantra was be kind. And Ellen's like, oh, I never meant for that to be my mantra. It took a life of its own. It was just something that I said the one time. And she's trying to like play it off as if that wasn't like her whole brand.
Wow.
What's wrong with that even being your brand? That's a fantastic, like, if, go, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it only becomes an issue when you're discovered to not be kind of a person. And so then Savannah asked her, she's like, so if you could do it all over again and pick a new motto for your show, what would it be? And she said, go F yourselves.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so she's really not happy, I think, about the way that people perceive her these days and about the cancellation of her show. And
so her show was straight canceled.
It's going to end after the 19th season.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere that she was like also interviewing with Oprah. And yeah, she was like mentioning that. She was like, it was already a plan to end at 19.
Okay.
Yeah, which everyone's kind of calling BS because it would make more sense to end at 20. And Savannah Guthrie brought that up and it was like, well, why not push it to 20? And then Ellen went on this whole big rant about 19 is actually better than 20 because 1 is the start of something and 19 is the end of something. And Dang. So it's the, the right place to finish. But I don't know. I think I, like most of America, was pretty, into Ellen's show for a long time. But at least recently, I have forgotten that it was even on. So
Same.
I'm not really going to miss it. But I definitely am not here for the salty Ellen. It's one thing to bow out gracefully, but it's a whole other thing to try to like pin the blame on other people. And
man, it's just so disappointing. Like, gosh, she seems so genuinely nice and funny in so many of those earlier clips. And she's such an icon for like, I mean, the way that she came out and like that magazine cover, like I'm gay. And like, she's just liked for so many things. And then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, this scorched earth departure. And it's just like, now she's just a biatch all this, you know, like
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of Rosie O'Donnell's downfall when she had her show in like the 90s. She was known as the Queen of Nice too. Like that was her whole shtick, was just like how nice she was. And then all of a sudden she went on, what was it, The View, or she got cast on one of those shows. And like, she's a biatch too. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's this parody account on Twitter, and oh my God, it is the funniest thing that I follow on Twitter, and it's called A Ellen Show. And I'm just going to read you some of the tweets.
Yes.
One of them is putting hand sanitizer on my car before running over my interns.
Oh, how considerate.
Another one is, as long as I have the rage inside of me, I can never lose.
Aww.
Another one is, hello, app Postmates. My order is 2 weeks late. Which office do I set on fire? And I am telling, this is the funniest thing I follow. If I need a laugh, I will just scroll through this Twitter page, and it's so funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
amazing.
Okay, wait, I have one more. I'm sorry. This one's really funny. I just read it. It says, if I don't sacrifice one intern a day, Portia will leave me. Please, I need more blood. She's the only consistent thing in my life besides my overabundance.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, we'll put that in the group. That's amazing.
So funny.
That is awesome. Ellen is a great example of either you die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
True.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard that Chrissy Teigen is kind of having a downfall in her image too, though. Anyone want to speak on that?
We can call her Tegan because she's got to be canceled.
Okay, go off, Nicole. Let's hear this.
Okay. Well, anyways,
Go off, sis.
back in 2011, way before we really knew who she was, she DM'd a model, Courtney Stodden.
Oh, she's the one who got married at 16.
Stodden, okay.
She got those big old
Yes,
boobies.
Whoa.
Yes, she DM'd her, basically straight up telling her that she needs to kill herself because she's dating an older man or married an
Oh my
older
God,
man.
Courtney
I guess
Stodden was
at that
definitely
point.
a teenager in 2011.
I agree. It totally
Yeah.
wasn't appropriate, but it is still not right for someone to DM you and be like, "Hey,
No,
you should
I'm
just off
saying
yourself because
no,
you're
I'm
dating
saying
a much older
it
man."
was
No, I know what
rude
you're
for her
saying.
to
No, I know what you're
DM her
saying.
and tell a teenager to kill themselves. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
So
And why wouldn't they like blame the guy who?
It
like,
was Doug something. Yeah, he's gross.
honestly, no idea.
Yeah. They're divorced now.
I guess-
Sorry. But
Chrissy is one to go after females, I feel like, because I don't know, if you just go through her Twitter, she attacks a lot of people, but then people will kind of throw the fire back at her and she'll just deactivate her account. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of her, so I can literally go on and on about her. But although these accusations are now coming out about her and the proof is coming out, she had her cookware collection dropped by Macy's, and she also had her line dropped at Target. But there's kind of something going back and forth that it was dropped a long time ago by Target, but me personally, from what I've been reading throughout the news the past week or so, that Target dropped her.
what is
because of all
happening
this
exactly,
happening.
though? Like, what are the allegations? That she's just a mean person?
She's a bully. They're pretty much calling her a bully.
she made a statement too, kind of like apologizing for it.
Yeah, she's only apologizing because she got caught. Why would she apologize this 10 years later?
I wonder if this is like model behavior because, like, you know, like in America's Next Top Model, like there was a lot of like just
Yeah. I'm on
bullying.
season 5 now, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm still doing my rewatch.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it's just that, if that's part of it. Like you're like growing up in this place where everybody's just bringing each other down, And
Man,
that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's messes up that she was teasing a 16-year-old.
it sounds like a lot of jealousy and internalized misogyny going on there, because it's like totally correct. Yeah, like, okay, Courtney Stodden married a 51-year-old man, and she got a lot of plastic surgery at 16 to fit into these idealized, she got bleach blonde hair, huge boobs and stuff. But like, if you look at Courtney Stodden now, it's like she was a victim. I mean, she's always a victim, but she talks about like, I was a freaking teenager and this older man like poached me, basically. Why did no one call him out? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I feel too like some of it is the age of social media. Like, how easy is it to type something and hit send and just not think about the consequence? I mean, ever since coming back to Twitter like a month ago, I see people post stuff all the time, and I'm like, what the, like, do y'all not have jobs? Like, I got people who, like, might be watching me. Like, I got people who, I'm not going to just run my mouth off so carelessly. But TikTok is the same way. People post all sorts of stuff and just not really think about it. And I think some of it is just that era that we're in right now, where it's just like, type the hate and hit send and forget about who's on the other side of the screen.
Yeah. So I think the message is be kind.
But not Ellen kind, like actual kind.
Be kind or go F yourselves.
Yeah, there we go. Be kind or go F yourselves. Well, I mean, is there anything else?
So the 2021 MTV Movie and TV Awards aired a couple days ago. And I'm not sure if anybody still watches these things, but to me, like, the MTV Awards are always at least the most entertaining out of all of them, because they're at least the silliest. And I don't know. It seems like people are actually there to have fun, That and like the Kids' Choice Awards, which I don't watch anymore, but I feel like that's another reason. Like, you go to the Kids' Choice Awards to have fun,
I saw like red carpet images of the MTV Awards, and I only knew a fraction.
Right.
Of the people
I'm
that
reading
were
some
there.
of these winners, and I'm like, who? But WandaVision won a lot. Best fight for WandaVision. Best movie is To All the Boys, Always and Forever. I think that's the sequel to All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Yeah, it's a straight up teenage rom-com on Netflix.
Breakthrough social star is Bretman Rock.
I like
Good
him.
for them.
I actually like him. Bree follows him. She got me
He's
into
got
him.
nice makeup.
He's gorgeous, and he's like, funny.
Is he like a makeup guy?
Yeah, he's a makeup artist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And he lives in Hawaii.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Best show, WandaVision. Most frightened performance was Victoria Pedretti from The Haunting of Bly Manor. I liked her a lot in that. Best reality cast, RuPaul's Drag Race. Best dating show, Bachelorette. Yeah, and then what I really liked is that Scarlett Johansson won the MTV Generation Award. And for a second, I was like, seriously? But then I listened to her speech, and girl's been acting for 30 years. And like, yeah. She really has been.
Have I ever shared how I like met her unknowingly?
No.
Yeah,
How?
I was like living in LA, and like I was an extra. It was like doing extra work for this one movie, and she was doing another movie in the same place, and we had like a break, and it was in a movie theater, and I'm like in the lobby, and I see this woman in front of me, and I'm like, whoa, she is beautiful. Oh my God. She was like so beautiful that I was like nervous to even like keep looking at her, that I just like turned away. And then when we get back on set, everybody's like, oh, did you see Scarlett Johansson? She was like wearing this like white dress. And I'm like, wait,
That's why that lady was so beautiful.
Who that was? And I thought she was going to be taller, but she's short. And I was amazed.
I'm about to bounce in again, hyping up The Island because that is like my favorite Scarlett Johansson.
I need to watch that again so bad. That night after we talked about it, I remember getting a glass of water and being like, do you remember The Island? And my husband's
so
like,
good.
oh yeah.
I think I talked about it with like 4 other people. I'm like, do you stand The Island? You? Me too.
Totally stand The Island. I did like her acceptance speech a lot too. It was really cute. It was pre-recorded, but like she's giving this super heartfelt speech, and then Colin Jost walks in with this bucket of slime and pours it on her head and goes, MTV, you got slimed. And she goes, what the F? That's Nickelodeon. And he's like, oh, shoot. Oh, no. Man. let me go get a towel. And he's just kind of like awkwardly wiping the slime.
That's awesome.
It was really cute and silly. Just like, that's Nickelodeon, man. So she's like just covered in this green slime. So
did you know Colin Jost
is adorable.
Brother, but his brother is a producer or like one of the like lead writers over for Impractical Jokers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Right.
they won Best Comedy Show, I think.
They
won
did.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, well deserved. They went on the reality night and I was like so hyped. I love those guys so much because they're just like four super average dudes who have been, you want to talk about people who have been like grinding and working so hard for a really long time. Like they have been at it for a long time and they're like finally getting the recognition that they deserve. So I was hyped about them.
I agree.
Good for them.
Another show we watched together there, Haley.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. You can watch that on HBO Max. They're in their 9th season. So my husband and I just got done binging 8 seasons of Impractical Jokers and laughed so hard and nearly peed our pants thricely.
Okay, well, that wraps up this episode of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Thanks for listening in. Where can our listeners find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Shauna Trinidad, SHAUNA TRINIDAD.
You can find me on Twitter at 30nerdypod and on Instagram at 30nerdythriving. And be sure to go find my giveaway that I'm running right now, giving away some Pop Culture Junkie merch and a WandaVision Funko Pop. And all you got to do is follow my Instagram and comment on the post. So be sure to do that.
You fancy
Awesome.
giveaways. Okay. Well, you can find me at ALCASNUN on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, you can find us at popculturejunkie.com where you'll see our social media links, our merch, and don't forget to like, subscribe, review, and thank you guys. This is Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Remember to join us every week on the dork side.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.